Tonight, 10 on Your Side uncovers gaps in security for the bus industry.
In March, Virginia State Trooper Chad Dearmeyer was shot to death during a training session at a bus station in Richmond. The killer was one of the people wanting and waiting to board a bus.
He carried the gun and bags of ammo with him. 10 on Your Side's Matt Gregory discovered the security on buses leaves gaps for criminals.
Every day, thousands of people travel the highways of Hampton Roads and beyond on buses or motor coaches. Then a tragedy happened to one of our own at a bus station in Richmond, and that got 10 on Your Side wondering just how safe is one of the most popular forms of mass transportation to travel on. On March 31st, beloved State Trooper Chad Dearmeyer was shot to death in Richmond. At the time, he worked for the State Police Interdiction Team. His unit was looking for criminals smuggling drugs or guns. Dearmeyer found 32-year-old former felon James Brown.
Chad Dearmeyer was an exceptional man, and I am a better person for having known him, and I will always miss my brother.
Months later, we talked to Virginia State Police Lieutenant Kevin Hood. Hood works for the same State Police Interdiction Team.
It's really designed for an all threats, all crimes approach, focusing mainly on traffic and narcotics through the different modes of transportation into the Commonwealth.
That day, how was James Brown able to get a gun and several bags of ammo onto a bus? I wanted to find out for myself what security steps, if any, are in place for buses. What I found was alarming. My producer and I bought tickets with cash. You don't need an ID, just a name. I put my own bag under the bus, and at no point getting on or waiting did we see any security checkpoints. When we got off at the Hampton stop, the same story. So how big of a problem is security for buses? For that answer, we brought in an expert through Skype. Mike Licata is a retired Air Force colonel. He specializes in bus security consulting.
The biggest challenge that the motor coach industry faces nationwide is the fact that it's an open system. Anybody can get on it at any time. You got to remember, the motor coach industry every year moves as much as the airline industry.
The bus industry has roughly 6,000 pickup locations. Federal studies show that the bus industry would grind to a halt if they had airport-like checkpoints. The real issue is the lack of federal dollars that go to the bus industry. The TSA gives $5 billion to airport security. The bus industry gets around $4 million. Now, there are safety and security measures in place at major bus stations, but at the smaller stops, it's up to the bus companies and local police. What's it going to take to get the attention of the federal government? Will it have to be something on a larger scale, an attack?
They try to help us, but they just they see it as an open and accessible system, and until it gets disturbed, they're going to just leave it the way it is.
10 on Your Side reached out to our local congressional leaders to find out if they would support legislation aimed at bringing more security to the bus or motor coach industry. And while they all agree that it's a very important topic, they wouldn't say whether or not they would or would not support legislation of that kind. In Norfolk, I'm Matt Gregory, 10 on Your Side.